Hello everyone! Welcome back to Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. We're heading to court for the first time in this case today, and I'm really hoping that the witness is not Armstrong. He's gonna be a witness at some point because usually every character we meet, for the most part, I think, has been a witness. But I'm just like, I really hope it's not him today. I know it's gonna be eventually, but I'm just not in the mood. If you remember in the last video, I could not read his lines because of the way it was typed out. My brain literally could not process it, and I felt like I was just like dying the whole time. So I hope the witness is someone else. I don't know who would be the first witness if it's not him though. She just gets to stay in her maid uniform. So random. Oh, I see. I guess I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? But he was there when I took the coffee, sir. Coffee over, sir. Scout's honor. Maggie. Oh. Gumshoe. Ah, Detective Gumshoe. Are you doing all right? How you feeling? As if you need to ask either question, sir. Don't let him get you down, Maggie. And don't forget to eat well, okay? Roger. And you. Yes? You better square this case away, got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? Oh, I know. It's our doppelganger, who's that guy that's very orange. Very obvious it's gotta be him. If you screw up, then I'll be doing some squaring away myself. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest. I think he's serious. What could you arrest me for?
Hey, detective! You're on our side for once, right?
Yep.
So you'll be able to help Maggie out, right?
Really? Can you, sir? Of course. I've got the situation under control. I'm gonna be the first witness on the stand tonight. That's right, it usually is Gumshoe first, but it's probably gonna switch to someone else afterwards. If something I say doesn't mesh with the facts, make sure you point it out, alright? Sure. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. You get me? I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, detective. I know I can count on you.
Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh?
I can only wish. It never goes smoothly.
Welcome back to my court. It's me, the judge. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. I got my coffee. You know what that means. Ah, bitter.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
Ah,
What's wrong?
nothing. It's just whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, you was talking to me?
Oh, yeah.
It was a little, well, intimidating.
No, that wasn't me. That was the phony Phoenix.
I see. So our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Oh, I'm so glad. Ugh. I missed our banter.
Or trusty. You know, lately everyone's been accusing me of being like, oh, you know, Phoenix, you're just BSing all the time. Oh, now I'm trusty. Now y'all want me back.
So, Mr. Gatto, your opening statement, please.
Mr. Trite, whether you're a fake or the real deal, we'll find out soon enough through this trial today.
But I can already tell you I'm the real Phoenix Wright.
I wasn't questioning whether you are Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not.
I went to college.
That's what I intend to find out.
There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. I don't know what that reason would be.
As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this retrial. I've already heard this before, so I'm going to be bored. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial.
Well, I wasn't there. I don't know what was presented. I'm not planning on repeating anything that phony me said. Trust me.
Now then, Mr. Gatto, please summon your first witness.
It always looks so sad.
Let's start with the formalities, shall we? Name and occupation.
Witness, state your name for the court.
Huh? Oh, sorry, sir. The name's Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe.
You nervous?
Other way around, Detective.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir.
Since yesterday.
Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigation's tied up with another case now.
I hope Gumshoe's really got everything under control, for everyone's sake.
I somehow doubt it.
I see. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case?
Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elk. He was a professional programmer. He was on the payroll of Blue Screens, Inc., a local company. This is the victim's autopsy report.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Died of potassium cyanide poisoning. Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30. And here are the floor plans of the restaurant. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. Okay, noted. I'm wondering if, like, where the other people in the restaurant were is gonna be, like, somewhere that they couldn't see that there was another person sitting there because of the, like, little partitions. The poison coffee was brought over to him by the waitress.
The waitress being the accused.
Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. Jean Armstrong, the owner and chef, and a regular by the name of Mr. Victor Kudo.
It still seems to be a very straightforward case to me.
Blueprints of the crime scene. X equals victim seat. Come, detective. Take up this hammer and nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own 2 hands.
Over my dead body. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimony.
Yes, sir. When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table, sir. But he wasn't. We understand that the guy, Glenn Elk, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. And what we found was potassium cyanide. That stuff really packs a punch. And, it looks like Miss Bird might have had, well, some kind of motive. Using the dark, aromatic depths of coffee to conceal the poison. This one's personal. How dare someone do such a thing? Classy lady.
The facts of this case seem to be ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would ask you to begin your cross-examination, but...
Yes?
Please, no intimidation tricks this time around. Is that understood? You scared me so much last time, and that's saying a lot, because I handled Francisco's whip. That didn't really bother me that much.
I already told you that wasn't me. I'm the nice Phoenix.
Okay, let's maybe press this first one. It's impossible for him to have been alone.
Can I stop you for just a minute?
Huh? What is it? Did I say something that contradicts the evidence?
He's so desperate for that to be true, he's practically crying. Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Bird.
That's not her name, pal.
I'm sorry. I stumbled. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table.
Yeah, that's what she said. And What killer wouldn't say that when faced... What? Now Gatto can't talk. What killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction?
Hey.
Sadly, her testimony isn't supported by the owner or the other customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, it's true. Their 2 testimonies tie up on that. They both said that there was no other guy at the table.
What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not?
Sure.
Well, maybe the other witness just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way.
That's what I've been saying. Ha! That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulations, right? I have here in my possession a ticket.
A ticket? Looks more like a photo to me.
It's a ticket to victory. Yes, a one-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population, the defendant. Wow. How long did it take you to come up with that one?
Well, he's already dead then.
This is a photograph taken from near the entrance to the kitchen.
Could have been scooted over a little bit. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef moments after the poisoning took place, correct?
He could have ran for it.
This doesn't prove anything to me.
I think the court will agree with that with such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Wright, could anyone have overlooked a second person at the table?
It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly.
I got a photo out of it. Oh man, okay. What? Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. Can you tell me more about that? Doesn't mean Maggie was the one to do it. So traces of poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else.
Not sure I get you, pal.
Was the poison a liquid or was it a powder?
Well, in that little scene he keeps saying it looks like powder. Because he's like, it looks like salt. He's sprinkling it in.
If I had to put it in layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance.
So the poison could have been in anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper.
Ha! Do you put salt and pepper in your coffee, Trite?
Well, there's the sugar.
The victim took his coffee black with no sugar.
Duh.
Seems that the poison could only have been in the coffee.
What should I do? Oh, should I press on this a little harder or not? We're gonna do this with everything I press on? Yeah, let's press harder. I feel like there's gotta be more to this. Press harder. Are you absolutely certain that the victim even drank any of his coffee?
Huh? What do you mean?
According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. But what proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it?
Oh, hey, you're right. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, God, now what? You always gotta drink your coffee before you say everything.
In case you were wondering, that last objection was for the detective there.
Not for me. That's a new one.
Oh, hey, you're right. You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. If you have the time to waste, you have the time to present that piece of evidence.
Oh, no.
That piece, sir?
Yes, that piece.
What piece was it again?
God, you gotta drink your coffee before you say everything. This. Not again. Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Phoenix's face, like, his eyes are so wide.
Oh, now I remember.
It's still better than the whip.
This is the, victim's coffee cup.
Ah! Well, I don't know what he said. It went so quick. Here's the thing. I pressed the advance button, and, well, it didn't advance. So I pressed it again, right as it did advance, and that's how that happened.
Oh, yes, it's unmistakable. There is clearly a coffee stain on it.
Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in the cup. The victim gulped down the bitter death that was the waitress brought to him, like this.
Ugh.
You're a little weird, Gato.
For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victim's and the defendant's.
Because it was the guy across from him and he just sprinkled it in. The coffee contained potassium cyanide, covered in the victim and Maggie's fingerprints.
On further investigation of this cup, we found a certain chemical substance.
Okay, potassium cyanide. Okay, this. She might have had some kind of motive. Some kind of motive.
Yeah, but if you ask me, it's been blown way out of proportion. You know what my golden rule is, detective. Check out a bad cup of coffee. You can always get another.
Huh? I don't get it.
Stop taking forever to drink.
I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if we have to chuck you out.
Gulp.
So stick to the facts, Detective. Now then, what was Ms. Bird's motive?
Come on, Gumshoe.
They said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket.
I knew it. That's what we heard yesterday, too.
It disappeared from the scene of the crime.
And it wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was a winning ticket for $500,000.
Mr. Armstrong knew about the ticket too, didn't he? But he stole the wrong one.
Then is it possible Maggie stole the winning one? What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? I guess I probably should. Wait a minute. The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client. It was Orange Guy. It was Phony Phoenix.
Ha! I have here in my hand the very ticket in question.
That's the $500,000 lottery ticket.
Was it planted on her?
One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search of the defendant.
What?
Someone planted it. They had to have. She passed out. It would have been so easy to plant it.
Order, order.
Ha! She's quite a lucky bird, or little waitress.
You will submit that ticket as evidence to the court immediately. And slide it my way after so I can, pay for some new mahjong boards.
I'd better keep an eye on that ticket. The way the judge's voice is quivering.
I want it.
A winning ticket for $500,000 found during a body search of Maggie.
This ticket was presented to the court in the previous trial, too. But it feels heavier now, somehow. $500,000, you say?
It's just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honor. And that's on Maggie's person, unfortunately.
That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime of which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime.
I like an old man who knows the score.
There's also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a very credible motive. I mean, with that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. I will kill everyone in here, and no one will be the wiser.
I don't mind an old man who is weak to the siren call of money.
Not good, Nick. The evidence against Maggie is starting to pile up fast.
Yeah, that's because the court has ruled guilty once already.
I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance
We've barely been here.
with one final decisive piece of evidence.
He's got more evidence against Maggie.
This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time.
Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've ever seen.
That stain looks like... can't be blood, can it?
Ha! It seems the star of our play was a little flustered. And somehow spilled coffee on herself.
The coffee? It's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye.
Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more.
Something else? I presume you mean...
Of course, I'm referring to the pocket.
The pocket? Not the blood.
A search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide.
Again, easily could be planted.
The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket.
A bottle of poison. In Maggie's pocket.
Yeah, and Maggie's prints were the only ones on it.
What?
Okay, now that's like, how did that happen?
Order, order, order. The court will accept these items into evidence.
Worn by Maggie at the time of the incident has a small pocket, but big stains. The deadly powdery poison bears Maggie's fingerprints found in her apron pocket. But it's like, why would Maggie just come to work with potassium cyanide just in case she needed to kill someone if she happened to hear they had a lottery ticket?
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Gatto. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. I may be old, but my vision's not that bad.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a blood stain.
You can't see it? You don't need to be told, just look at it.
Well, detective, could this stain really be blood?
No way, sir. It's just ketchup, sir.
Ketchup?
Or maybe it's paint?
No, not again with this judge.
She must have gotten some on her apron while
Taking some, well, words.
Can't even blame it on Armstrong this time.
while taking someone their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe.
Pull a stunt like that again and I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness.
I thought everyone knew what it was already.
God, how did you not see the blood?
I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the last ruling I made on this case. The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence, they've all been clearly established.
Well, Trite, it seems you really are a phony after all.
Ugh, you really know how to drive a man nuts.
Witness, please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there. The crime scene was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir.
She fell very gracefully when she passed out.
Poor Maggie had passed out from a shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him, but we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly. When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. You identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. You're a fantastic detective.
Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Trite. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin.
How'd you find out who he was so quick? Is my question. How'd you find that out? Wait a sec.
What? Did I say something dumb again? Please? Am I an idiot?
Let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, yes?
Yeah, basically.
In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly?
Oh, that.
He's so let down, he's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going.
There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket.
Okay.
It seems Mr. Glenn
Egg?
Sorry, his name's not Glenn Egg, it's Glenn Elg. Visited his doctor before he went to Tribulations.
We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds. That's a reliable enough source for the court.
What should I do? Should I leave this alone or ask to hear more? Oh. Let's ask about the prescription bag. I don't think his health insurance matters. So, what sort of medicine was in the bag?
Well, actually, the bag we found was empty.
Huh?
Yeah, completely empty.
It was completely empty. The victim got this from the doctor before going to Tribulations. The bag is empty. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Ha. You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate, are you, Trite? Now what happened with the investigation after that, detective?
Maybe Orange Guy stole the medicine. Why? Oh. Well, that's why we got that bag then. There was nothing else missing from the scene. Well, clearly there was. And it was this. Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There is just one small contradiction in your testimony.
Oh, finally. I'm wrong. Yes. I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will ya?
You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medication from the scene of the crime later?
No, they didn't.
The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. Where then did the medicine disappear to?
You are too cool, pal. Indeed. Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far, huh?
The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. Boom.
Order. Well, Mr. Gatto, what do you have to say to that?
Ha, that's all.
What?
Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will.
What's the clinic's name got to do with anything?
I can't read that.
New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic. What?
Just what kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Gatto?
Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say.
A war wound?
The day before the incident, Mr. Elg found himself in a fight. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum.
He ruptured his eardrum?
And what on earth was the prescription he was given?
It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside his ear canal, not to be ingested.
Well, it's still missing.
What?
Maybe Orange Guy has ear issues and he can't afford it. He has bad health insurance.
It's mentioned in the autopsy report, if you read the fine print. They found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear.
Yes, here it is. I see it. I can read. It's very, very fine print, but I can see it if I squint.
It seems Mr. Elg correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication.
But it's still missing.
It seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all.
But it's missing. No.
Nick, if you don't think of something quick, it'll all be over.
She's right. But I can't get away with any old weak objection. What should I do?
Push it because it's still missing. Whether it's not to be ingested or not, you know?
Only moments ago, Mr. Gatto made the following statement. It seems Mr. Elg correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime?
Back to literally the reason I brought this up in the first place.
But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. It doesn't matter.
It's still missing.
That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth.
You know as well as I do that medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems like that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide.
It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But if it did, the possibility is undeniable.
Ugh. My mask is smoking again.
Maybe he couldn't see the ketchup on the apron because he's looking through red all the time. Maybe everything just looks red to him.
That's enough. Mr. Gatto, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Gatto. I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder.
Oh, thank God it's not Armstrong. I'll take him any day over Armstrong. Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater?
Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial. And that is something that bothers me.
Yay! Good job, Nick!
The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness.
Huh. I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups.
Court is adjourned for recess.
How many cups did you say you'd normally have? 'Cause you only got 6 left already?
Phew, that was close.
Tell me about it. I nearly died in there.
That's my line, sir.
No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit.
Looks like we all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray us like that?
Huh?
He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up.
I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right?
It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. No, Gumshoe's gonna be so hurt if you hate him. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again. Oh no!
Poor Gumshoe.
He's been helping you. He's the one that got this retrial.
So the next witness is going to be the old guy from the park, right?
Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds.
I bet he's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know?
Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you gonna be able to handle him, Nick?
Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me, even those never-ending bird seeds. Is he gonna bring his bird seeds to the trial? Throw them at me? Better than coffee.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Gatto, your next witness, please.
The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand?
Oh, yep, he brought his seeds. We're gonna get pelted.
Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
The name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be real emotional at times, too.
We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation.
My occupation. Listen, young'un. How much call do you think there is for kimono embroidery here?
Kimono embroidery?
That's what I do, or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed.
Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe you can embroider my costume sometime.
Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile.
That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen.
Now then, witness. Were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Java Cheeto. Seeds? What do you think these are, I see. You're a strange old man, and that's coming from a strange old man.
So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please, tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure, I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this.
What I witnessed.
The young man was reading the sports paper. The servant girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it. Looked like he was in terrible pain and then collapsed. That's the servant girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
But do you? Because you really only look at the uniform, that they're wearing.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a servant girl. Please refer to her as a waitress. We respect women in this court. Ha, you're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones? Newfangled? I'm older than you. I'm 87. All this talk of radios and glasses, it's wireless and spectacles, I tell you. Excuse me. Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't forget the good old days. Don't let the good old days slip away. Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. I don't like him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, did you really remember Maggie? Because I don't know that you did.
You said, I remember her well, in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by?
Particular features. It's a disgrace. That's what it is.
Sorry?
You can see all the way up to her, you know, she's practically naked in that uniform.
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit. But anyone could wear just such words again. But anyone could wear just such a uniform. An uniform? Is that right? I think it should be A. I think that's why I'm stumbling. Even me, I could wear it. Phoenix Wright.
Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image. I love you, but even I don't want to picture such a thing.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You gotta keep yourself together.
I guess I got a bit carried away.
There were other things too. I recognize her out.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do?
Well, tell me. Tell me what else you recognize about her.
Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not.
Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features that you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony. Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair, and her apron's straps were loose.
I honestly can't really remember her uniform enough to know if that's true, but I'm gonna press.
You do seem to remember several details about her appearance, but what about the most crucial detail of all, her face?
Was she wearing glasses?
As if I wouldn't remember that.
The witness noticed the straps on the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right. I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
But we want to know about her face.
So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight.
There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow.
The straps or back? I don't know. I mean,
Dude, I don't know, it could be either. I'm gonna go with this. Just cause, why not? The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back.
so was there another waitress? But she remembers bringing the coffee over.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Ha! He's got you there, Gramps.
Wow, Gato, you actually agreed with me. Are we best friends?
No.
Aw. People normally talk about their facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons.
This is harassment. I tell you, I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. Eat my seeds. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features and stop throwing seeds at everyone in my wacky court. Features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony. Sure.
This whole man's testimony is getting longer and longer.
If I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet.
I don't know where I was getting me from.
There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
I think, should there be? Should.
There should be. You should have noticed all the stuff on her apron. Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this.
That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating.
Have you ever seen this before?
Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that,
Haha, gotcha.
Well, you have to let it clot.
I'm doing my pose. Say, I gotcha.
Oh, he's doing the pose. What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And you just said yourself you wouldn't forget something like this, which means if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front.
Oops.
Gotcha, old man.
Witness. You can't just oops your way out of this. Not in my wacky court.
Ha. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Thanks for making it interesting, Trite. I'll sip my coffee. Listen, Trite, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
That being the defendant, Ms. Maggie Bird.
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion where I forgot what burger a customer wanted. You can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Right.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to details is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. He was another of those pesky young types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless, I remember that well. And the servant girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I remember those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything. How are we gonna handle this, Nick?
We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot.
Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel?
I suppose, but it's what I do best. I ruin people's days by tripping them up.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I feel like it's gotta be something about that coffee cup. Okay, let me look at the coffee cup in evidence. Okay, it contains potassium cyanide covered in the victim and Maggie's fingerprints. He picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. Is it this? It doesn't feel like it'd be anything else is the thing. Should I check the guide to make sure I'm right? No, you know what? YOLO. He really just said YOLO. You can tell what era I grew up in. I'm just gonna go for it. Why not? I think it's this. I don't know how it's that, but I know it's that. And nothing else makes sense.
Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing your credibility of your memory?
I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you. Nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song.
You better do it, because you got something wrong.
Care to tell us where this is going, Trite?
According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left.
God, what is this, kindergarten?
Oh, I see. Based on... Okay, I get it.
But I would like the court to please take a look at this. He would have been having to hold it with his right hand based on where he sipped.
I know it was that. I just couldn't figure it out. I was never going to figure that out, though. Glad I took the gamble.
That's the cup the victim used, correct?
Yes, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips.
I see it. I have eyeballs. There is a stain left by the coffee.
If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand.
But how?
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. Come on, sing the bird song. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Ah,
Do it. I want to see it.
Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I'm old and I have better memory than you. I think the witness... Wait.
I didn't get to finish the line, Kudo.
If you think I'm gonna stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot and you spiky-haired yahoo, who are at fault.
Who? Me?
Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already. Don't call me old man, old man. I'll call you an old man. Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I have to say. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but...
Sure, why not hear a little more?
Mr. Gatto.
This is my 16th cup of coffee.
It's 17. 17's your number? Yeah.
So this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. Blah, blah, blah. Eat the seeds. Blah, blah, blah. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. And he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand. We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye.
It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers.
A monitor? How high-tech and cool. You mean like a television screen. I want one.
The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work.
HDT, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad, but they don't matter. I know what I saw, and I'm telling the truth.
It's true. He doesn't seem to be lying.
Those are the facts in good old black and white.
Okay, so he had an earpiece on the same side. I feel like it's gotta have something to do with the fact that his eardrum burst and the medicine. So it was on the same side as his specs. Kept fiddling with it. Just before he picked up the cup. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. Wouldn't there be medicine on the cup then, if that was the case? The victim got this from the doctor before going to Tribulations. The bag is empty. In theory, I don't know, you can't say for certain which hand he would have used to use the cream. I don't know, wouldn't it have been on the cup? I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but Mr. Kudo, there is something very strange about your observations of the victim.
What?
You say that he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD.
No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. I could only see the side of his head from where I was sitting.
I don't think so.
What did you say?
You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right, it's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear. Oh, so that's what we're saying? Okay, I guess we're just trying to still prove his memory. I was just straight up believing him. It was like, well, if it was in his left ear, maybe he put the medicine. How many times have I picked the right piece of evidence in this game, but for the completely wrong reason? Like, my logic is totally off, but it's still right for some completely different reason. It's a talent of mine, I swear. Because he couldn't even hear in that ear.
Is that true, Captain?
It is.
Pigeon. Pretty pigeon.
Wow, he's doing it. He's singing the pigeon song while eating seeds.
Order, order, order.
This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims that the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Gatto,
A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk.
Captain, are you calling me a drip? This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark at the rim clearly shows that the victim picked it up with his right hand. I'll never back down. I know I'm right. The lad drank his Javicino with his left hand.
Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly, the victim used both hands. He took a sip with the cup, held in his right hand, and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw.
impossible. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Is that your last cup? Right there?
Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. Elg drank the poisoned coffee. Like this.
That's your last cup, Gatto. Sadly, Mr. Gatto, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless.
Puh.
I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo. You can't reach me from there. And I have been whipped, which is far worse than having seeds thrown at me. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. The court is adjourned.
I had a feeling that was coming. We weren't fading out, so...
Wait. If we stop now, where does that leave me? Leave you, Mr. Kudo. Thanks to that blue-stained young upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now.
How is your bad memory my fault?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do. I have to get to Mahjong. I've kept my mouth shut until now. But there's something else the court should know.
What? There's more?
To be perfectly honest, it might not have been anything. But I want another chance. I want another crack at you, you young shark.
Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun.
Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? Final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook.
Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee.
Then you're just gonna have to get through without, Gatto.
What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javicino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man. That's enough, witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. You bet. Much, much quicker. I can't believe this is happening.
I can. We've had weirder happen.
Haha.
I get the picture, just quit throwing those seeds at me, would you? I didn't get to read his line. It auto-advanced. He's gotta be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds. He never runs out. Okay, the final showdown.
First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of it myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javicino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. The vase. It broke and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, Is that all? Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You doubting me again? You're doubting a poor, defenseless old man? No, we are not doubting you, Mr. Kudo. Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick?
Yeah. So what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy.
You're a bird brain, that's what. That's all you can think of. Very well. Mr. Wright, your final cross-examination, please, and make it quick. I want to leave.
Okay, a vase. Wait. Slumped over. He knocked over the vase. Where is the photo of the crime? The vase is not knocked over here. I hate to tell ya, but that's just not right. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene.
So what?
Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact.
Huh?
Lost your tongue, Granddad? Awkward.
I'm no granddad of yours, hopscotch.
Ow! Ow! He's throwing him even harder! Judge, help!
Enough! Stop throwing seeds at Phoenix Wright. If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here, alright? Aha! What is it now? I just remembered something.
Yes, go on.
The broken vase. Ah, it was on my table.
What?
Ah, well, you see. It startled me when the young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean. The vase on your table? Ah, yeah, it was on my table. And that's how my... Sir, did you have to say it like that? Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today. I never want to see your face again. I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all? Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo. Ah, wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh yes, I remember something else. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. I'm sick of him. Wait, listen to me. Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked. My court is wacky, but even I have a line that I do not want to cross in terms of wacky. That was just annoying, not wacky. Sometimes I hate my life. But I am still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far.
The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand, and the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear.
Wow, Nick, you did it! I therefore require both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate the facts.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end.
One more thing, Your Honor.
The witness we just heard from. He is most insistent that his testimony should be of use. So he summarized it accordingly into this statement.
Another haiku? Okay.
You may each have a copy of it if you wish.
Whatever. Prosecution doesn't need props like that.
I have a feeling it's gonna actually be important then if you're like, I don't need this.
God is really mad, huh?
Yeah, I would be too.
Very well. There you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Cato's. I don't want it either.
Yes, Your Honor. I have 3 copies of this. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Poor guy. I feel bad for him. I'm sorry. This isn't a piece of testimony. More like a 5-year-old's apology.
What are we supposed to do with 3 copies? That is all. This court is adjourned.
That's gonna be important somehow. I don't know how, but it will be. Just like the fact that the Gato is like, I don't even need it. We're gonna need it then.
All right, well, that is it for today's video. Yeah, so, like, I feel like it's very obvious that we know for a fact that the guy that we saw, the phony Phoenix, it was him. He did it. I just don't know the circumstances around it. Like, how did everyone miss this guy? Because he stands out, let's be honest. And, like, what were his motives? Why was the medicine missing? And then the fact that he decided, like, oh, I'll just be a fake Phoenix Wright. Like, huh? This is one of those cases where it's like, I know who it is. I'm struggling to figure out how we get there and how some of this stuff is going to be relevant. Like, somehow him knocking the vase over is going to be relevant, and I don't know how, but it is. So yeah, next time we'll do more investigating. We're unfortunately probably going to run into Armstrong again, and my brain's going to break. And he's probably going to be a witness next time, which is going to suck because my brain is going to break. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!